Have you ever had one of those situations where you're sitting around, maybe talking to your friends, and then suddenly you're just sort of like someone says something that, triggers a thought in your mind, and you just suddenly, whoa, it all makes sense now. And you have that moment of clarity where you realize how you have created some fucked up situations in your life and the part that you played in it. Why you created this whole dynamic, what it was supposed to teach you. You ever had a situation like that? Hopefully you have. And you can definitely plan on having another one like this with this new moon in Gemini. So during this new moon on May 22nd at 10:38 a.m. is when it is exact 2 degrees 4 minutes. So numerologically speaking, this is, and then we have Uranus also at 8 degrees and 4 minutes. Very interesting. And with these degrees are very powerful aspects about relationships, right? They're all divisions of 2. So, and this is in Gemini, right? 2 degrees Gemini. This is all about the cerebral aspects, the two little, the angel and demon on each shoulder talking to you about shit. This is where we start to go really deep into the more understanding and clarification within about everything that's been going on since the beginning of this year. Really, for the last 6 months, okay? But really, since all this shit in the world started happening, we have this aspect, a very powerful aspect, in my opinion. This new moon is trine over to Jupiter and Pluto. Now, Jupiter is now at 27 degrees and 8 minutes. Pluto's at 24 degrees and 49 minutes. So this is basically, if you look at this, Pluto is still at about 25 degrees, and Jupiter is now just about at 26 degrees. So they're a little over a degree apart. This is huge, okay? And as they get closer and closer and closer, this is bringing together that second of 3 culmination points where the intensity, the understanding, the massive tipping point at which is changing everything in our lives at the foundation. Okay, and this is in Capricorn. This Capricornian energy is all about the structures in our lives, the structures in the world. This is, and with Saturn here, it's still in Aquarius, but it's retrograding back from Aquarius into Capricorn. That's why with the Saturnian energy in Aquarius is all about, like the censorship, the locking down, the stuffing up. With their retrograde now and coming back into Capricorn, this is the easing off, the letting people come back out to play, the giving people basically enough rope to hang themselves. Okay. Now, I am not talking about being for or against the whole country opening up. I personally think the country never should have been shut down in the first place. Of course, precautions being taken, but this has been fucking ridiculous. But with Saturn coming back into Capricorn, that is going to sort of take the energy away from that process, because they are assessing and analyzing the data at the macro scale, at the highest level. This is them. The next few months is they're going back to the drawing board, seeing how we responded, and they're going to put that into their little pandemic prop where they're able to attempt to predict how people are going to respond the next time they come out with the next surprise, because you can be damn well sure that there's going to be another surprise once Saturn goes back into Aquarius the next time, especially since it's going to be conjuncting Jupiter there at 0 degrees. That is going to be happening in December of this year, so we can definitely, I don't know what to say if we want to look forward to, but there's definitely going to be massive shifts again happening later on in the year. So be ready for that. But right now we're going back in, into a little more normal feeling. And with this is giving us the opportunity to really go within and see what is going on inside of us. Where are our passions at? And where is it, like, we've come out of this old phase of ourselves, right? We are now in a new phase of our soul mission, okay? With the nodes that have shifted, we are now in a new 18-month cycle of our divine soul purpose of where we're meant to be going. So we're getting all these new feelings, all these new ideas, all these new passions, driving forward, wondering what's next, where we're going to go, how we're going to do it. And as this starts to, sort of speed up, this new moon is really getting us in this cerebral place of assessing and analyzing where we're at and starting to understand where we were at and how we got here and why, so that we can look deeper. Because look, the shit never stops, guys. It's just a constant spiral. Okay, energy is never being created or destroyed. It's just transforming, right? So the way I see it, we're sort of, as we're awakening and doing this work and processing and learning, we are sort of cleaning the energy, if you will. Like, as the stuff comes out of us and we're purging out all these denser energies, we're allowing these higher vibrations to come in and purge out more. And as we do that, we're purging it for the collective. And this is really what the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction is showing us. And as we're purging and growing, we're coming closer to the life in the essential utopia that we really dream of. But it's going to take a lot of work. And also, we have the North Node now quincunx over to Pluto in Jupiter. This is like saying, like, the reality is setting in of how monumental this new level of this purpose is that we're going into. Okay, so you really have to stand in your knowing and trusting within yourself. Okay, and just acknowledging that you have to go through this. That this dark night of the soul, this purging aspect, is happening for a very good reason, because you are meant to do something more in this world, in this life, and we're going to be needing you here very, very soon. Next year is when, we as light workers, as empaths, as intuitives, as leaders of this new world are going to be at the forefront of this, unfortunately, this sort of battle, right? Between the attempt to control the old, which is Saturn, and the attempt to revolutionize the new, which is Uranus. And next year we have this third quarter square, Uranus and Saturn, that's going to be for about 2 solid years, coming into the United States Pluto return that starts from about 2023. So as you can see, this is just we're just entering into this new world, and this new world, it's going to be very different than the old world. And even with Neptune here being in the third decan and going further and further along that line, man, the energy is going to be starting to get really, really weird. Okay, and right now we are at the exact square with Mercury and Venus at 20 degrees conjunct, square over to Neptune. You want to talk about internal conflict and confusion. And so we're getting this. It's almost like we're assessing and analyzing, but as we're assessing and analyzing, we're falling down this rabbit hole, like in the Alice in Wonderland. Okay, and all of a sudden we land in this new world, and all that assessing and analyzing, it helped us sort of feel more balanced and grounded in ourselves. But now we're in a whole new freaking place that doesn't abide by the typical laws that that used to govern us. Because as we awaken and as we grow, guys, we open up our DNA, and this, they say that we only use 3% of our DNA. The rest has been shut down and suppressed. Right now, it is suppressed through all these, chemicals and substances and, media and EMF and, radiation, vibration. And they've used all these things to suppress our DNA from expanding and growing. But the universe, the Pleiadians, these different beings that we're working with, they have other plans. They want us to grow and open up and expand and process, because, we are empaths for a reason. And when we access that opened up and expanded part of our DNA, that's when our gifts open up. That's when we become the true powerhouses, and we actually are able to show and teach others how to, open up and be vulnerable and be in this loving, peaceful place within. Okay, we are the ones that were chosen to come down here to purge, to process all this energy for the collective. And it's not an easy job, guys. So we have I think personally, the most difficult job in the universe, but it's because we're fucking warriors. Okay, and we've had to come down here to do this work for the bigger purpose, for humanity. We are the ones here that are creating this new world. So stand in that knowing, stand in that power, especially if you're resonating with this, you're getting inspired. You're like, fuck yeah. You know, like I want to, and you're attracting more and more people that are having these awakenings and getting curious about consciousness and even maybe about psychedelics and all these new like expansions, David Wilcox and, you know, the Q and all that shit. It's people are really, really waking up, coming around, and this Pluto-Jupiter conjunction, especially retrograde, is opening up the insides now. Like before, when it was direct, it's like changing the external world, changing our external environment. Somebody breaks up with us, or, you know, we lose a job, or, you know, the whole, you know, pandemic that we're in right now. But when it's retrograde, it's within. It's that internal heart cracking open, chakra blazing, Kundalini activating, like bam, right? That's when the gifts start to become available or aware. We become aware of our gifts at a deeper level, and we come together. Okay, we are working right now primarily on intuition. Okay, and some of us know it, some of us don't. Some of us are more aware than others. But at some level, you know, it's like a tractor beam. You're just being pulled to these different areas, these different places, and instead of that pulling being sort of victim to the media and victim to what was once unconscious, because it is now conscious, it's pulling us to each other. It almost like cleared away this fog and the connection between empaths and intuitives and, you know, all of us. And now we're all connecting on a deeper level, and such a beautiful thing to be a part of, you know. But it's making us realize, like, holy fuck, we are so much, we're like fucking Voltron, guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, we come together and we're so much more powerful together. And we are working at an energetic frequency level. And when we do this efficiently, we are just so powerful. And we're going to start seeing that more and more here in the coming months and even coming years. All right. But this Neptune exact square to Venus and Mercury is going to make things a little bit frustrating, a little bit weird, feeling like having these vulnerabilities coming up, and it's like communicating to you, but it's all new and you don't really know what it's feeling like. So you may even like be with your partner and you're feeling some kind of way, like you want to be held, but then you want to run away from it. And you're kind of like, I don't know where to go, what to do. You know, that's the feeling that, you know, right now you just sort of got to sit in, especially because Mars is in Pisces too. Now, Mars is actually sextile over to Uranus, which is great. Very, very, passionate, unexpected kind of energy. This is really like ascension symptoms coming through the body right here, but feeling passionate, like ready to go, like, I need to do something, start a new business or get out there and make some shit happen, but I don't know where to go. And you're like ready to run, man. You're just like at that starting point, like fucking shoot the gun already. Let's fucking go. But the universe is like, you know, where the fuck you gonna go, dude? Your job, it's like all these downloads are coming in, but we can't do anything with them yet. Okay. Because we still have to go deeper. This is like we're going deeper than we've ever gone in humanity, you know, in the collective unconscious. And it's bringing all this like brain juice, all this cognitive feeling and functioning and overwhelmed, like, but we can't give into the impulse of the energy, because the energy is very like, I want to get out there, talk to people, make shit happen, do this thing, blah, 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 blah. You got to slow it down, because Gemini doesn't like to be slow, really. Gemini is like, you know, just wants to be social and just wants to talk and communicate and bounce ideas off each other. Okay. And of course we can do all that, but this is more like, this energy is where we need to activate that artistic expression, you know, on the side, like, you know, like doing a painting or doing poetry or writing a book or, you know, creating your own yoga practice, something along those lines. Okay. And then figuring out step by step on how to do that, maybe so you can teach, maybe so you can show others, who knows? All right. But now we also have Uranus semi-square over here to Venus and Mercury. So, you know, that's going to throw a little bit of like, you know, more awkwardness and weirdness when it comes to, you know, like relationships outside of us and to the self. This is like, you know, we want to feel good. We want to like understand like how to make the people we love feel good. And it's like, the information wants to come in and it is coming in, but it's just a little cloudy. It's a little weird. All right. Because it's so deep. It's, you know, like we're diving so deep here, guys, in our consciousness and in our fundamental structure of our soul. Whatever part of our ego is still holding on from the old, it is getting purged out. And it's that purging of that ego that is making it confusing, because our ego, what does it want to do? It wants to hold on. It wants to control. So this is all about letting go of that control and allowing the thing to flow and letting things just be what they are. But but this energy is just, it's pulling very, very hard on like, I want to understand, I want to be cerebral, I want to figure it out. And it's just like, dude, it's not time. So you just gotta tone it down a little bit. Okay. So just, tone it down. But with that being said, let's bring this up to, if I can find it, I want to go into the inside degrees and Gemini, 2 degrees of Gemini. But you know what? At least Chiron and Lilith aren't conjunct anymore. They have moved on, and Lilith is now heading further into Aries, which is nice. So we don't have to deal with that anymore. So 2 degrees of Gemini, okay? It's a collection of large dry leaves, each one bearing an inscription. A neatly compacted little world, everything fixed together splendidly. Each detail is highlighted, mentally knowing to be right where it belongs. But everything is static. No movement destroys the coherence. You remember the way it is supposed to be and reconstitute all good things from the past, while inwardly craving to break through to something new. The familiar mental categories accompany you everywhere. Knowing exactly what is happening is highly valued. 1,000 practical gifts are made easy. Everything works smoothly. The socio-cultural sphere is well served. But underneath, slowly, gradually, you are losing all interest in this pattern and seeking a way out of it, which is the fullness of time may be there if you can let go of the need to please everybody and make perfect sense and discover the great bulk of your being lying dormant. Waiting for the future to dawn, needing relief and release, to feel alive again and to know what it is possible to find real satisfaction in living. And this is that Pluto-Jupiter energy to a fucking T. This is exactly what I'm talking about. It's like we have 2 worlds sitting inside of us, one that is dying and one that is emerging and growing. And we're still a little not sure about where we're at with both of them, okay? We have to honor and acknowledge that one is dying off, and we have to like sort of welcome the new one in, but the new one in feels foreign, it feels weird. So we have to let go of that and allow, like, because if we don't let go of it, we become stagnant, we become dormant, okay? And we're sitting there waiting for the future to happen, and then it just never happens. And then now we just start going crazy, right? And it needs relief and release to feel alive again and to know that it is possible to find real satisfaction in living. And that release and relief comes from letting go and surrendering and not being victim to our insanely powerful mental capacity. We have to find, it's not like you can just sit there, not everybody can just sit there and meditate. We have to find an outlet for it, right? A healthy outlet. So whatever you do, look for that healthy outlet within yourself as these new feelings are coming in. Like, there's a lot of ascension symptoms. There's a lot of like, ups and downs, and people are, emotional all over the place. Every interaction you have is an opportunity and a test to grow into this new energy, right? You can be kind. You like when people are being triggered, respond to them with kindness. Respond to them with, like, I'm not going to feed that bullshit. Okay. Like, it is what it is, but, and I'm going to protect myself from it. I'm not going to play a game. All right. That's standing in our power. That's emotional boundaries. That's being loving and self-respecting, while also holding space for the opportunity for these people to learn and to grow and to come into alignment with themselves, because everyone has to do it in their own time, in their own way. Okay. So, there's no forcing people to see shit. Although, some people, it will require shit's getting blown up in people's faces. Right. And part of that is necessary right now. Okay. But, I feel that especially empaths and intuitives, like, we have a particular position in this whole process where we are here to help people grow, right? So everybody has their own part that they're here to play, right? In particular, we are the ones that are here to help people grow and to show them that there doesn't need to be, anger or hostility, or we don't energetically need to feel that conflict. Okay. When we are not in conflict with ourselves, we don't feed the conflict. Now, that's going to be tested, of course, to the nth degree. All right. But when you can finally, have a debate with someone, because there is no debating anymore, right? People don't debate. They yell and scream and bitch and moan and manipulate without listening to the other side. So we need to bring that back. And the only way to bring that back is by being bigger than the other person. Okay. So be the bigger person. in every way that you can, and stand in your own authenticity. And you know, if you're tired, if you need to sleep for a couple of days, you sleep for a couple of days. If you're feeling inspired, you want to work for 3 days straight, you work for 3 days straight. If you want to just, you know, whatever it is that you're feeling called to do, spend more time with your kids, you know, like just, you know, spend more time by yourself, you know, like just be honest with everyone in your life about who you are, what you need. And even if you don't fully understand it, just like, look, just please, I'm going through some shit. I'm growing, I'm learning. I don't know how to put it in words yet. Just communicate whatever it is that you're feeling every step of the way, because sometimes it's not clear. And if people really love you and people really, want to be in your life, then they'll respect these needs. And if they're not meant to be in your life, then it'll trigger them out of your life. And you have to be okay with that. You have to let go of needing to hold on to attachments that are keeping you held in the past. Okay? So that is it for your Gemini new moon. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe if you resonate with this information. And please go to my website. The link is down below, spiritualbodybuilder.com, for astrology readings, to join my amazing opportunity community, and to download my free ebook. All right? I love you guys very much, and I'll see you on the next report. Namaste.